Well, the Dandadan Season 1 finale came out, and it honestly didn't feel like a finale. It honestly hurts to say that my concerns from my last video have been proven right, despite me wishing the opposite. So let's get into episode 12 of Dandadan as I talk about my thoughts, my concerns, and feelings towards a finale that doesn't feel like and should have never been a finale. Welcome, friends. I'm Merlin with a Y, a certain famous wizard's less talented but more attractive cousin, and I'm gonna start by talking about the golden light coming from between the model's legs. I kind of forgot to really talk about what was between the model's legs in the last video. Did anyone really think it was gonna be this easy? Yeah, right. Last time they got a ball back, it ended with a dead body and emotionally scarring the audience. They're not gonna make this that easy on us. So yeah, it was a Christmas ornament, not a testicle. Not that he needs it, because Taro, the model, might be the smoothest guy in the show. In more ways than one. God damn, that dummy has riz. This guy is so romantic, I'd be worried my partner expects me to be like that. Then I remembered, I'm single. God damn it. The extra details of Taro jumping out the window and getting on a train are such a small addition, but it makes the scene way better than the manga. This shit is so much more dramatic and romantic than it had any right to be, and I'm here for it. Why is it that the guys with the most riz in this show have no genitals? Or at least are missing some. Or missing their brain cells at least. Then again, Okarun only really had that charisma before he realized his feelings for Momo. Much like real life, when you're not looking for anything, you're Mr. Popular. But the moment you try to meet someone, suddenly you're alone. But while the group begs Seiko to let the female model stay, Okarun is doing his best to try and be as exciting and interesting as his newly discovered rival by copying his brand of weirdness. He's really acting like grabbing some lint means something. Okarun, that's not the power move you think it is. The fact that Momo and Jiji don't notice the obvious writing on the wall can only be blamed on brain damage from past fights. Or just dumbassery in Jiji's case. But still, Jiji is being wholesome, in his extra kind of way. I swear, for all the people watching this who don't like Jiji, he gets better. His eccentricities are still there, but as you get used to him, he grows on you. Especially after a certain arc. Which isn't in the first season! God, this is frustrating! But I love it when Jiji and Okarun are on the same page. They're all weirdos, and I love seeing them vibe together without too much drama. Though there will always be a bit of that under the surface. But that doesn't mean they can't be friends. As we see on the train ride. At least when Okarun isn't thinking about his nut. As much as I hate seeing Okarun act insecure like this, I can't help but relate to him a little. I'm sure everybody's been in the third wheel at least once. And if you haven't, then I'm sure you've been in a group where they have a bunch of inside jokes you don't know, memories you don't have, and even though you're surrounded by people, you feel completely alone. But Okarun is growing up a little bit. Sure, it's easy for him to look at Jiji and think of him as a romantic rival, but all that does is make him look even more childish. At the very least, by growing to accept Jiji as a friend, it'll make those moments when he's with them hurt less. Jiji is one of those guys who are hard to hate. At least, if you're in the show. Cause I know there are people that hate him in real life. But Jiji is that one friend in the group who, yeah, is annoying and tends to say or do stupid shit a lot of the time. But he's one of the most honest, loyal, and genuine friends you can have. I should know. I'm the Jiji of my friend group. Though I will say, Jiji has a lot more to focus on than Momo. That face says it all. The scene with Jiji trembling in fear, unable to sleep due to his trauma, was great. Unlike the page turn to Jiji's traumatized face, the way the camera moved to show Jiji's despair-ridden face showing his terrified expression, only to move on to the evil eye, standing over him, it perfectly expressed what Jiji tried to hide. He's not nearly as unaffected as he tries to make it look, and the fact that you can see the apparent fear even while upside down just goes to show how expressive these characters are. And once again, they chose the perfect music to complement Jiji's terrified breakdown. Dandadan has the incredible ability to switch genres in a flash, to go from romantic drama to fun shonen comedy to downright horror. There aren't a lot of series that can pull that off without whiplash. Maybe that's why Jiji chose to mess around with Okarun instead of staying in the house. Despite that though, I will admit, Okarun and Jiji's argument over who likes Momo more is really childish. And while it's good that the characters are being honest with each other, it still feels like two children fighting over who likes a girl more. And I'm not sure how Momo would react to that. Thank God she wasn't around to hear that. But then again, I'd probably prefer that to what's actually going on with her. The scene with the gators in the hot spring really makes me uncomfortable. And I'm sure it did for everyone else watching too. With this, plus what happened in the first episode, Yukinobu Tatsu, you're really not making this easy on us. I feel like I should probably bring this up for that scene in episode 1 and the Gator scene in this episode. There were people talking about how the scene had too much fan service and that it was over-sexualizing Momo, but when I watched it, it never really felt like fan service. It felt uncomfortable, like Momo is in danger and we're worried about her. There was no moment where I paused the episode and went, "That's hot." This was no High School of the Dead. I wanted the scene to end as soon as possible, and I think that's what the creators wanted you to feel. Whether that was the case for you guys, I don't know, but that's how I felt. Though what the hell is up with Dandadan choosing here to end the season? What were they thinking? Episode 1 had Momo almost get assaulted, so let's end the season with Momo maybe getting assaulted again. Yeah, that way it goes full circle. Hell no! They chose probably the worst place to end it, and that is really frustrating. I'm gonna be honest, I think they probably should have ended the season with episode 11. That way it would go full circle with episode 1, ending with Momo briefly smitten when Okarun tells her his name. And episode 11, ending with Okarun speechless as he realizes that he can't give up on Momo. It wouldn't be the best finale, but it'd be leagues better than this. For those who don't know, this episode ended literally in the middle of chapter 34 in the manga. They didn't even get to the end of the chapter because I'm sure they wanted to end it on a cliffhanger. But of all places, why this? It's quite possible they chose the exact worst note to end the season on. It's at times like this that I'm reminded that for a lot of companies, anime is nothing more than a giant advertisement for the original source material. And I suppose leaving your female protagonist being attacked and left in such a terrible state is one way to get people to pick up the manga, if only so that isn't the last image they have of the series. But let's be real, most people won't pick up the manga, so that will be the last thing they think of, which doesn't bode well for the continued anime fanbase. I wouldn't be nearly as disappointed in this episode if it wasn't the final episode of the season. This is what's going to stay with people as they wait for Season 2. At the very least, Season 2 has been confirmed for July 2025. But if it wasn't, I'd be worried that it wouldn't be picked up for a second season. I really think Dandadan should have been a 24-episode season, and if it couldn't do that, then ending on episode 11 would have been better. While the 12-episode format is fine, I fear that Dandadan won't quite stick around in the anime culture the way anime like Jujutsu Kaisen did. When Chainsaw Man was airing, everyone talked about it, but now I never really hear about the anime, at least not to the extent that JJK did. And I feel like that was probably due to the shorter season. So with Dandadan ending in such an unsatisfying way, it could hurt it in the long run. But those are just my thoughts. This was an okay episode, but it just doesn't work as a season finale. I really love Dandadan, and it's because I love it so much that I want it to be the best it can be. And for the most part, it has been. The first episode was breathtaking. The fourth truly let me see how good an adaptation could be. And the seventh hit me in a way that I still haven't fully recovered from. Even if it didn't end on the high note I hoped for, the series is still an incredible work of art, and I can't wait for the second season. And I hope you feel the same way too. But those are just my thoughts. Thank you so much for watching till the end. Please like, comment your thoughts, and subscribe. After this, I'm going to go back to making videos about manga and manhwa, but every now and then I'll do an anime too. Though it's probably going to be a while before I go back to doing weekly episode reviews. I love doing this, but that was pretty taxing to be honest. That, and I want to make sure I stay passionate about doing this and keep making videos that I think you guys will love. I'm Merlin with a Y, and thanks for listening to this old man ramble.